has a win in the UFC. Moving on, we got Jackson McVeigh versus Bruno Ferreira. Bit of a rough fight for my boy Jackson. He was supposed to fight Street Dumas, and this fight was originally Ikram versus Bruno Ferreira, excuse me. And that would have been a sweet fight, bro. I was so excited for that fight. I thought it was one of the best fights on the card, honestly. And great matchmaking too. And then of course Ikram pulls out for the bajillionth time. So Jackson McVeigh popping in on short notice. Rough draw. Going from Street Dumas, the felon on house arrest, to Jackson, to Bruno Ferreira, who's a monster, nasty power, good jiu-jitsu, solid overall fighter, very dangerous, a lot of finishes. And yeah, I think Jackson McVeigh's gonna get cooked. I know he's like a submission kind of guy, but from what I saw from him, he's very slow on the feet, and he just kind of has that build that looks like he's gonna get chinned by someone who's short, stocky, and has good power. So I'm going with Bruno Ferreira by like first round knockout. But who knows? Maybe McVeigh could find like a guillotine or some shit. That would be cool. But yeah, I'm gonna go Ferreira first round KO. Next up, Ryan Spann versus Lucas Brzeski. Ryan Spann versus Lucas Brzeski. I trusted Ryan Spann when he fought Waldo Cortez. I was like, oh, he knocked out Reyes. You know, like he's got good power. He's not terrible. And then he looked fucking awful. He just looked like a fat light heavyweight. Totally. I mean, Cortez is good. You know, looking back, that was a much tougher fight than I thought it was for Spann, but he just looked so sloppy. He had like 1 round of cardio, 0 fight IQ, like it was just terrible. And so I do not want to bet on him again. But Brzeski also kind of sucks. He has a sneaky good win over Walter Walker, where he kind of made him look goofy. But other than that, this guy's losing to like the worst fighters in the heavyweight division. Like, lost to fucking Martin Boudet, Cortez Acosta, whatever. Lost to fucking Carl Williams, bro. Come on. And then Kennedy Nzechukwu knocked him out. That's not terrible. But then Mick Barkin knocked him out. How the fuck are you gonna let Mick Barkin knock you out, dude? So yeah, this is a tough one, because I don't want to bet on Ryan Spann again. I don't want to say that he wins, because he really is pretty fucking terrible. But this is the level of opponent that I could see him fucking chinning, you know? It's not an elevation or anything, so, you know, that's, I guess, kind of an advantage for Ryan Spann, but I really don't know. I think it's like a 50-50 fight. Oh, so tough. I'll go Lucas Brzeski by decision. But I don't know, I could see Spann chinning him. Spann is like, kinda like Michael Johnson in a way, where he just like fucking knocks out Dominic Reyes and then gets cooked by Anthony Smith. But I think he also is just kinda terrible, so I'll go Brzeski by decision. But I'm not confident in that pick. Next up, Jimmy Crute versus Marcin Prachnio. It's an interesting fight. I feel like these guys are very similarly skilled. I think they're at kind of the same level. That being said, completely different styles. Jimmy Crute got like fucking T-Rex arms, but he's built like a tree trunk. And he's got pretty good grappling, good Kimuras. His striking has not been great, and his chin is terrible. But that being said, I don't really see Prachnio cracking it. Prachnio doesn't have the best power in the world. He's kind of a karate like point fighter, throws a lot of kicks, but none of them really are like hard. A lot of like snappy kicks and shit, so I kind of want to go Jimmy Crute here. He is on a massive losing streak. I think like 4 fights in a row, but the dude, in his last fight against Pilato, I thought his grappling didn't look terrible. Like, and on the feet, he was keeping up with Pilato, which I thought was kind of impressive, you know? So I think I'm gonna go Crute just because I do think he has a massive grappling advantage, and he didn't look terrible in his last fight. He kind of retired, took some time off, and I did think he looked better than, his past form against like Anthony Smith and stuff. So yeah, I'll go Jimmy Crute by like Gamora, round 2. Maybe arm triangle, something like that. Hello, wind. Next up we got Adam Fujit versus Islam Dulatov, excuse me. I'm a big fan of this Islam guy. I remember his Contender Series fight. He had a nasty finish. I think he got an elbow against the cage or something. But, like, it was one of those performances where it's, like, kind of hard to watch. Like, damn, this dude is a fucking monster. Like, he just kind of ran through his opponent. Looked pretty technical and sharp, long reach, good build for the division. And he's like a Versace model or something. So, the fucking next Luke Rockhold coming up. Absolute Chad jawline. And Fujit's not bad. He's like okay-ish, but decision guy doesn't really have much of a threat, on the feet. Like, he doesn't pose much of a threat. Kind of a pitter-patter kind of guy. He beat Josh Quinlan, but so did this guy I went to high school with, and he subbed him in like 1 round. And I think Adam Fujit wanted decision with him. So yeah, I'm gonna go Islam Dulatov by like first or second round TKO. I'm excited for that one though, because this fight's been fucking getting rescheduled bajillions of times, and I think he's gonna be like a hot prospect after this performance. So I'm excited to see how he does. Watch him get just chinned. Who's next? Next up we got Adeba Gautier versus Robert Valentin. Yeah, Valentin is pretty nasty on the feet. His grappling isn't the best in the world, as we saw against Torrance Finney, but he had this elbow on the Ultimate Fighter that was so nasty, just timed it perfectly. I think his opponent was going for like a leg kick, and he threw it like a right hand down the pipe, and just boom, insane power. Like, he's kind of like Yuri. He's one of those Nordic, I think he's like Swedish or something, but kind of just like insane fighters. He's training at Tiger Muay Thai. Great Muay Thai, good elbows, good striking. Again, grappling is kind of not the best, but this is a very fun fight. Gautier, he looked good against that fat Mexican guy, but like, who doesn't, And yeah, he knocked him out, but it was low-key an early stoppage. Even though he did get dropped bad, he woke right back up, and he was totally conscious. But again, I think this is like a, not Danny Barlow, who's the other guy? There was some other jacked African guy that was like really hyped up, and then turned out not to be so great. I guess you could kind of say Jacoby Smith, in a way, but I think he's one of those kind of fighters where it's like, he looks scary as fuck. It's like, oh shit, I do not want to fight this guy. He's got like the Ngannou kind of aura. But then you get in there and it's like, oh, he's actually kind of mid, Like, he's actually just like, okay. On the feet, I do think this is going to be closer than people expect. I will say, Valentin doesn't have the greatest defense in the world. Kind of keeps his chin up. He's not super defensively sound. He's kind of a marauder type fighter, and he could definitely get cracked. But I do see Gautier, or whatever the fuck, grappling in this fight. I think he's gonna see, or I think he saw how badly, Torrance Finney did him against the cage, and he's gonna try to do the same shit. And he's a strong, powerful guy, so like, I think if he does, he'll probably be successful in the grappling. So I'll go Gautier by like close decision. I don't know, I do kind of see this fight finishing, but it's a tough one. I hope they scrap it on the feet, because if they do, it'll be a great scrap. But yeah, I think Valentin has some value as an underdog. I do not think he's a bad fighter whatsoever, and I think Gautier's probably a little overrated, but I'll go Gautier. I'll go like ground and pound TKO. Not really hurting him, but just landing a bunch of shots. Valentin covering up and not really being able to do anything, and the ref just stepping in and him like complaining about an early stoppage. Next Next up, Francisco Prado versus Nikolai Beretenikov. I don't know why this is so high up on the card. This should be like the second fight of the night. Both these guys are like the definition of mid. Dude, these crows are going nuts. They're protesting Francisco Prado being this high up on the card. Oh my god, shut the fuck up, bro. I wonder what they're yapping about. But yeah, both these guys are like actual NPC fighters. Francisco Prado, he looked okay against Jake Matthews. Kind of a boring fight, honestly. He's a total fucking lightweight. I don't know why he's going up to welterweight. He's tiny. He's got that like Drew Dober build. But I think he's low-key even smaller than Drew Dober, so he's gonna be massively undersized. Kind of like a hook spammer. Again, I think he's just like one of these NPC fighters that isn't like terrible, you know? He's not like one of the tough Mexican dudes who have zero striking or power or offense. Like, I don't think he should be cut from the UFC, but he's just like bottom feeder, bro. Like, anyone decent is beating this guy. But bringing it to Beretenikov, this guy is not anyone decent. He's 0-3 against decent competition for sure. Had a boring fight with Danny Barlow. Looked okay, but I don't think Danny Barlow's that great, to be honest. Got smoked by Austin Vanderford. And I want to say, if you watch that fight, he was complaining about an early stoppage. And he like started molding. I think he tried to hit Austin Vanderford after the fight. But I get it, bro. Like, he's 0-2. And he was totally fine. It wasn't like any of the shots that Austin was landing were hurting him. It was just cumulative. But like, they were all being blocked by the glove. Like, none of them really got through. So I low-key understood his frustration. I thought they cut him, but I guess he's back. Because they didn't have enough fights. They didn't have enough fights fucking like 2 weeks before the card, so they kept him around and said, hey, we'll throw you on there against Francisco fucking Prado for a pay-per-view card. I think it'll be kind of a fun fight, I guess. I really don't know. I want to go Prado because he is 23 years old. Like, I think if anyone's going to be making improvements between fights, it's going to be Prado. Like, Nikolai's, you know, fighting for his life, fighting for his UFC contract. But I really don't see him making many improvements at like 36 or however old he is. And Prado, I thought, looked okay against Jake Matthews. Nikolai is kind of like a rangy point fighter kind of fighter. And I could see that creating problems for Francisco Prado. Because Prado is short, stubby, like tiny fucking dude. So I could see him getting picked apart on the feet, but I could also see him just like coming through, countering, landing the more significant strikes, and winning like a split decision. So I'll go Francisco Prado by split decision, but such a weird fight to be this high up on the fucking prelims. To me, like, alright, this fight probably won't be great. To me, it's either one of those fights that kind of looks bad and is actually just like a banger, or one of those fights where neither of them really do anything and they just kind of have like a shitty striking match on the feet and Brendan Allen wins like a close decision. That's like the only two ways I can see this fight going. But why is this not on the main card? You got fucking Zell Huber and Michael fucking Johnson, Kevin Holland and Daniel Rodriguez, but not the two like top 10 ranked fucking middleweights. Makes no sense to me. This is a tough fight to predict too. I'm leaning Brendan Allen just because he is kind of the more improving fighter. He's not super young by any means. He might actually be older than Vettori. No, he's not. Vettori's 29 and Allen is, or no, sorry. Allen's 29 and Vettori's 31. Kind of crazy that Vettori's only 31 years old. But dude, I bet on him against Delize. and he looked so trash in that fight. Like, how the fuck are you gonna lose a striking battle to goddamn Roman Dolidze? Like, he had nothing for him. No adjustments made, just kind of did the same shit. Never used his kicks, just tried to box with him and was losing in the boxing to fucking Roman Dolidze. Like, I think Brendan Allen is okay. You know, I don't think he's a bad fighter by any means. I don't think he's like top 5, but I don't think Vettori is, dude. Vettori's fucking dog shit, like, or maybe not dog shit, but he just does not adapt. Like in the first fight against Dolidze, he was ripping that body kick, having success with the kicks all day, and then second fight, he just doesn't throw him, tries to box, and then loses a boxing match over 5 rounds. It's like, maybe if it didn't work in the first 4 rounds, it won't work in the 5th. Like, maybe you gotta switch something up, bro. I don't know. That's just me. I'm not a fighter, but just an idea, you know? So, I'm pissed at Marvin, bro. So I'm going Brendan Allen by decision. Brendan, I think he has sneaky good striking. He does kind of like leave his chin exposed, but he's tough. He's pretty durable, and he's got good kicks, good Muay Thai, decent boxing. Like, he's kind of a scrapper on the feet, and you gotta respect that. Against Vettori, he's not knocking him out. Like, Vettori's got an insane fucking iron golem chin. Got that ogre chin. But I do think on the feet, Vettori's gonna be mixing up the kicks, getting in the clinch, landing knees, and then Vettori's just gonna be doing his same shitty boxing with 0 power, trying to set up his jab. And I think they're going to nullify each other on the ground. I don't think either guy will have much success grappling. Brendan Allen will probably try, but I don't think he'll, like, get his back or anything. Vettori's a tough guy to take down, so I'm going Allen by decision. Next up is Kyler Phillips versus Vinicius Oliveira. Kyler Phillips is a guy who I used to love fight. I was a big fan of him, because he would just throw, like, insane shit. Fucking spinning back fists, spinning wheel kicks, flying knees. Like, he had an insane fighting style and he made it work. But recently he's kind of lost his edge. You know, tightened shit up. But I think he's become a lot less dangerous because of that. And, yeah. I don't know. I don't rate him that much anymore. Vinicius Oliveira. He had a good fight with Saeed. I didn't think he'd beat Saeed Nurmagomedov, but he made it happen. Kind of a boring fight. Saeed gassed out, and I could see this fight playing out a lot like that one, where maybe Kyler does some good damage early, and then Vinicius comes strong in the last couple rounds, uses his grappling, maybe gets some takedowns. It's one of those that, like, should be such a fun fight, but I could totally see it being, like, low output, kind of boring. But I don't know. I hope it's fun. I do still think it should be on the main card over fucking Michael Johnson. But yeah, I'm gonna go Vinicius Oliveira by decision. I think he's the more improved fighter. Like, Kyler Phillips is still young, don't get me wrong, but Oliveira's pretty nasty. He's got a pretty fucking strong build for bantamweight. Very dynamic. I mean, so is Kyler Phillips, but I just think he's the more improving fighter. He's on a good win streak. I'm gonna take him to win this one by decision. Next up, onto the main card, we got Michael Johnson versus Daniel Zellhuber. This is a no-brainer, bro. I'm going Zellhuber by decision. Maybe even knockout. I don't think Zellhuber's actually that good. I think he's like maybe top 25. Like, I think anyone in the top 15 beats Zellhuber pretty easily. I think he's kind of overrated. And Johnson, you know, shout out Michael Johnson, bro. Still in the UFC, going strong at 39 years old. You gotta respect it. But the dude is bad. I mean, I want to say he's past his prime, but he kind of keeps winning. Like, he'll be on a 2-3 fight losing streak, and then he'll beat a Marcus Chikasi, like, easily. Just fuck him up, defend all his takedowns, and look amazing. Like, it's insane. Every time you count Michael Johnson out, he comes back and looks fucking good. So you gotta respect Michael Johnson. But this is a terrible matchup for him. He's gonna be way smaller. Zellhuber's a lot younger. You know, great striker, long rangey. I think Johnson will have the speed advantage like he always does, but I could see him getting sniped by a right hand. I'll go Zell Huber. I'm thinking late TKO, maybe decision. I'll go late TKO. Why not? Late TKO round 3. Latter half of round 2. Next up, we got Dan Ige versus Patricio Pitbull. Patricio Pitbull. I'm going Dan Ige on this one. I think this is a no-brainer. Pitbull used to be kind of decent, but this guy never throws fights or shots. Like, he's fast, he's quick, he's a good counter fighter. But dude, like, looking back, the Yair matchup was terrible for him because they're both counter strikers, and Yair's a lot more dynamic and long and rangy and fast. Pitbull's also getting old. He's like 38, and it sucks because this guy's actually kind of decent when he wants to be, but he just does not throw shots. Like, I'm sorry, I know you're a counter striker, I know you're waiting for the other guy to come in, but they know you're a counter striker. They're not gonna play that game with you. And at some point, you gotta be like, alright, this isn't working. I gotta start mounting some fucking offense, bumping the jab, like fucking trying to track him down, land that right hand, land that hook to the body. Like, he just does not adapt. He has one game plan, that's the counter. And if it doesn't work, he just loses the fight. Like, he's so content in losing a decision. And it's kind of annoying to watch, honestly. That being said, I think this is a decent, much better matchup than Yair for sure. Ike's a smaller, shorter guy, has a lot of power, but I think Patricio might honestly have the speed advantage. And, Ike's going to have to close the distance to get to Patricio. And he is kind of an offensive fighter. I mean, he's not like a marauder by any means, but Ike does go forward and land his shots. So I think Patricio will have more success than he did against Yair. But it's just hard to pick him, bro. When his output is so low, he's getting old. And Dan Ike's been looking better and better. I thought his win against Sean Woodson, even though it was total early stoppage, that's very impressive. It is not easy to do that to Sean Woodson. He is the definition of a tricky fucking alien. So you gotta respect Dan Ige for getting that finish. And yeah, I'm going Dan Ige. I'll go decision. So wind is fucked. Come on, Earth. What the fuck, Mother Nature? Don't you know I'm recording an ASMR video? I could see Ike getting out-grappled because he really doesn't have the best grappling. Historically, like, Korean Zombie fucked him up in the grappling, and Patricio's got like sneaky good, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, just doesn't use it ever. So I could see that being a way this fight plays out, but I can't not go Ike in this fight. I'm gonna go Ike by decision. I think it'll be kind of close though. Next up, Kevin Holland versus D-Rod. Another easy pick. I'm going Kevin Holland. This matchup makes no fucking sense. Kevin Holland beats a guy like Gunnar Nelson, who's good and a good grappler, and he fucking kind of smokes him. And then you give him D-Rod. And also, why do I feel like these two have fought before? Why do I feel like they fought like 3 times before? Like, this is such a fucking COVID era matchup. I feel like I don't know why. I just feel like they fought before. Like Ponzinibbio, Alex Morono, Daniel Rodriguez, Kevin Holland. I feel like these guys are all like the same fighter, Yeah, I'm going Kevin Holland by fucking second round Dars. He's been Darsing everyone, bro. He's got a nasty Dars. I think he's gonna finish him like he did to Means. Or was it Ponzinibbio? I think it was Means where he dropped him and then just fucking dove on the Dars. Rolled through and got the finish. Yeah, I mean, D-Rod's okay. He's kind of mid. He's got kind of a fun style, like hands down low, big long hooks. He's got that fucking grip from fucking California, Vato kind of fighting style. And I like D-Rod. He's a funny guy. But yeah, this matchup makes no sense to me. Like, who did D-Rod just beat? Ponzinibbio, yeah. So did Kevin Holland. Like, you beat a fucking 40-year-old. And now you're getting Kevin Holland, who's been looking great as of recent. Like, UFC is doing Kevin Holland nice with this one. Yeah, Kevin Holland's second round Dars. Next up, the co-main event of the evening, Paulo Costa versus Roman Gapilov. This is an interesting fight. Paulo Costa, he lost that dog in a man. 2019 Costa was a different animal. I still think he was like super overrated at the time. Like, I knew Izzy was gonna fuck him up, bro. Because if you watch his fights, it's like he's only successful against guys that would let him, back them up to the cage, and then he was a monster against the cage. He had great pressure and good cardio, and solid power, good boxing. But against anyone that tried to keep their distance or like counter, punch and fucking move around the cage, he had no success. But that being said, like, since that fight, he hasn't looked bad. He had a good fight with Robert Whittaker. He had a close fight with Strickland, even though he looked pretty bad, didn't really do anything. He just became technical. I heard him talk about on the Jackson podcast that he got a new coach, and the coach was like, "Oh, we're gonna make you technical. We're gonna have you throw calf kicks and fucking jabs and move around, be a counter fighter, and fight off the back foot." It's like, no, dude, that's against your entire fucking fighting career. Like, your style is to go forward, pressure, and work the body, work that against the cage, which he was great at. But then I guess this coach just kind of instilled in him, like, nah, you gotta be more technical, throw less fucking punches, and now I feel like he just doesn't do anything. It's kind of weird. Yeah, I have trouble picking Paulo, but I think Kopilov's also overrated, to be honest. Chris Curtis is low-key beating him. It was a close fight, but until he got dropped, and that was a bullshit stoppage. I think Curtis could have been up 2 rounds. I don't think Curtis is bad, but I would like to see Curtis against Paulo Costa. Actually, that would be a great matchup. Don't know what's going on today. What the fuck? And when I say Kopylov is overrated, I by no means think he's bad. I think he's definitely top 15 level, but I don't think he's top 10. Like, his grappling got kind of exposed by Anthony Hernandez, but Hernandez is really good. And on the feet, he is very fast and a technical striker. Great kicks, insane, like, nasty body work, super fast and kind of like violent jab. He's one of the few people that actually uses the jab really well in MMA. He's a southpaw, loves his kicks, and I think against lower level guys, he's gonna smoke them all day. But once he gets to the higher tier fighters, I think he's gonna start to gas in those earlier rounds, and he's not gonna be able to keep that speed for 3 rounds. That being said, I do think he beats Paulo Costa. How old is Costa? 34. They're both 34, actually. I don't know. I could just see him sniping Costa, landing those kicks, jabbing him up. I don't see him out cardioing Costa, but I do think volume-wise, he's got this fight in the bag. Like, I think he's gonna throw way more than Costa, and that's gonna be the key in this fight. I think he's gonna pump that jab, rip those body kicks, leg kicks, those fucking spinning back kicks, and I think he's gonna start to fade in the 3rd round, and Costa might start coming on strong. But yeah, close fight. Again, I don't think Kopilov's this like insane monster, but I do like his activity, and Costa just has not been fighting like his true self. It sounds gay as fuck, but it's true. Like, the dude is just trying to be technical when he's not that kind of fighter. Like, be a marauder, bro. That's what you're good at, And I think this fight, low-key, might be kind of boring. But yeah, I'm going Kopylov by decision, 29-28. Moving on to the main event of the evening, we got Max Holloway versus Dustin the Diamond Dustin the Diamond, Porier. This is a tough one too. If this was 2019, I would go Dustin all day. I remember watching their second fight and thinking like, damn, like Holloway's good, but the power difference was just so apparent. Like Porier would just crack him and you could see Holloway would get kind of wide-eyed, like, oh shit, you would do the white wolf, he'd fucking look around like, damn, that was fucking a hard shot, and he was ripping him with that switch stance all day. And yeah, Max Holloway looked small, but Max Holloway definitely has put on some size. I thought he looked great against Gaethje. Again, like, kind of like Paulo Costa, but better. Like, he used to be this, like, kind of lean, skinny, just Nate Diaz type of fighter where he just pop, like, put the pressure on guys, just land these pitter patter shots, just always keep something in their face, rip to the body, go back upstairs, and he just like out cardio these dudes. But nowadays he's a lot more reserved, and he doesn't throw as much, but when he does throw, he kind of makes it count, puts a lot more steam into his punches, has that beautiful fucking spinning back kick. Yeah, throwing a lot more kicks these days. And again, if this is 2019, I'd go DP all day, but in the big 2025, I think Max Holloway's a totally different fighter than the guy that fought him the second time. I think he's gonna be able to trade with him. I do think he won't have as much power as Dustin still, but I think he'll be able to get respect from Dustin. I don't think he was able to get enough respect in that second fight, and Dustin was able to feel comfortable just kind of trading with him because he would always land the bigger shots. But I think if he tries to trade, I think Holloway will, gain that respect and land like a good kick to the body or a good right hand or something, and make Porier like a little bit more cautious. That being said, Poirier's been improving too. I thought he looked phenomenal against Islam. He was kind of getting outstruck, but in the grappling he looked great. Like, I do think he's made a lot of improvements as well, but the one thing in this fight that I don't usually take into consideration, like, usually when I try to predict a fight, I try to think of like, okay, how well does this guy's style match up against this guy's style? Like, if you've ever, styles make fights, I think that's the truest shit ever, Like, there are a lot of other factors that go into it. Like, yeah, if someone is 0-3 and they're on their last fight, like, they're gonna feel a different way coming into the fight. If they're dealing with like personal problems or something, or they had a bad camp, then that can affect their performance. But we don't really know enough about that kind of stuff to factor it into the predictions. And I think just the stylistic matchup is the biggest like factor of who's gonna win a fight. That being said, I'm gonna break that rule in this fight because stylistically, like, Porier should kind of win. He's got a lot more power. He was able to crack Holloway's chin the last time they fought. Not, drop him or anything, but he was landing pretty fucking consistent and pretty hard on Max Holloway, so, like, and he's fucking 0-2. Holloway's 0-2 against DP, so it's like everything should tell me that DP should win, but this is his last fight. When you say, like, okay, I'm done after this, no matter what happens, which is kind of crazy if he like knocks out Max Holloway, how the fuck are you gonna retire after that, bro? And there's a new champ. Like, Islam's out of there. I don't see how you couldn't stick around. And how old is Dustin? 36. He's not even like super old. But when you're going into a fight and it's like, alright, I'm done after this, I'm sorry, but your mindset cannot be the same as a guy like Max Holloway, who has that dog in him, who wants to get that title back, who has a new opportunity at 155. Like, there's just so much more on the horizon for Max Holloway. And Dustin's like, alright, I'll have a good last fight, but this is it. I'm done after this. And it's like, what's your motive? I guess he's fighting in front of his home crowd. He wants to end his career on a win. But I think Max Holloway's motivation coming into this fight is a lot stronger than Dustin Poirier's. Like, I just don't know if I can bet on the guy who's already decided that this is the last fight of his career. Like Lauren Murphy, bro. Like, it was her last fight, and she did not seem to be extremely prepared for that one. So, I'm going Max. I'm curious. I do think, I don't know. I want to say this goes to decision because both guys are so durable, and I don't really see, unless like Max head kicks him or some shit, I don't see Dustin Porier getting knocked out by Max Holloway. But I also don't see Max getting knocked out by fucking Dustin. You know, the only thing I hope is that if it does go 5 rounds, they fucking stand and bang, bro. Do the Holloway special. Because that shit is lit, bro. And like, no one else can really do it besides Max Holloway. So many of these guys fucking, let's go. They point to the ground at the end of the fight. And then like, one guy tries to scrap and the other one just like shoots a takedown or circles around or does nothing. It's like, okay, come on, bro. But these are two guys that if Max Holloway does that shit, I feel like Dustin's gonna oblige, bro. I feel like they're gonna scrap it out, especially for his last fight. So I do hope we get that moment. I think that would be pretty hype. And you know, that again, like what happened to Gaethje, there could be a finish in that sequence. But both these guys are so like tough and fucking have great chins. I really don't see either guy getting finished. So I'm gonna go Max Holloway by like 49, 46, maybe on one judge's scorecards, and then like 48, 47 on the other two. It is in Louisiana, so you never know. They could rig it for Dustin Porier, but I'm gonna go Max by decision. I think he gets it done. But yeah, decent card. It was. Alright, so like, from what I heard, you know, in the MMA communities, 318's coming up. 318. Like, it was this awful card. And I looked at it and like, there's 15 fights on this bitch. There's a lot of fun fights. Like, none of them are like super great, you know, where you're like, oh, this is a fucking banger matchup. But none of them were like, oh, this is trash. Like, this belongs in the Apex. Like, there were a lot of fun fights. And I remember thinking, when I was looking at this card like a month ago, like, you know, it might not have the best name value, but I think there's a lot of fun fights on here. But now that, and like, why am I low-key sad that Neil Magny and Gunnar Nelson is off the card? Like, Gunnar Nelson was probably just gonna smoke him, run through him. But to me, it's like, that's an interesting fight, you know? After Gunnar's last fight, too, like, it's intriguing enough to be like, okay, that's a solid fight on the card. Then that got scrapped, and all it really did, it was Ikram Aliskerov and Bruno Ferreira getting scrapped. That fight was so fucking good. And I think that really, you know, took a big hit to the card. And then they just added these random ass fights, like also Ribas versus Tabitha Ricci. Yeah, alright. I'm not gonna complain about a women's fight getting canceled, but like, that's a decent fight too. Like, I like Ribas, bro. I always tune in whenever she fights. And it feels like in the last like 2-3 weeks, they just threw on a bunch of like Apex card fucking scraps on this card. I don't really get it. Like, Crute and Prachnio, I don't think that was on the card a while ago. And Spain Bresky definitely wasn't. And then McVeigh comes in, so it's like, now looking at this card, it's like, okay, it's still not bad. I think the order is all fucked up. I don't know why they have Kyler Phillips and Oliveira and Brendan Allen and Vittori on the prelims. Makes no sense to me. I think overall as a card, it's probably like a, because yeah, the main event. And by the way, the UFC totally fucking kept the BMF belt around so that they could do pay-per-views without having to put a championship on the line. Like, that shit is so obvious, bro. And it is a good fight. Like, I guess it is a pay-per-view worthy fight, but if you're gonna have a non-title fight headliner for a pay-per-view, you gotta fucking, you gotta stack that shit. Like, if you're gonna have Justin Gaethje and Porier as the main event, you gotta have Alex Pereira and Jan, which is gonna end up being a great fight. But like, a fight like that where it's like, oh, this is like a title contender or a title contention type of fight, you know, some high level, like, you gotta stack it with really good fights. if you're not gonna have a title fight at the top. But then it's like, we get Paulo Costa and fucking Kopylov that was just taken from 317 as the co-main. Like, that's the best y'all could do. So in that aspect, I see what people are saying, like, yeah, that's pretty fucking ass. But I think overall as a card, it's gonna be fun. There's like 14 fights. I always like when there are a lot of fights. I hate when it's like a 10 fight card, because there's always more chances for something good to happen. And yeah, I think there'll be some good knockouts. I think there'll be some stinkers too. But I think overall, as it currently stands, it's like a 4.5 out of 10, to be honest. I just wish the main card was stacked a bit more. But there are a lot of good fights that I'm looking forward to, especially the prelims. The prelims are not bad. Besides Prado and Vrednikov, which is another one of these fights that just randomly got added, I swear, to this card. But yeah, those are my predictions. I'm still excited for it. It doesn't really feel like a big pay-per-view. It's not like 317. You know, I don't have that kind of hype for this card, but I'll be watching it. I think it'll be a good one. And yeah, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Have a great night, and don't let the bedbugs bite.